And our top focus this morning, Rahul Gandhi, in a matter of about 2 hours from now, is going to appear before the Enforcement Directorate for questioning. He was grilled for 10 hours yesterday, but the ED has more questions for Rahul Gandhi and hence has summoned him for a second straight day. He's going to be appearing at about 11 or 11:30 this morning for questioning. Rahul was in fact asked about a variety of issues related to Associated Journals Limited. ED questioned Rahul about his role in the organization which owns the National Herald newspaper. And according to ED sources, Rahul was evasive. They also have a few more questions to ask the Congress MP, which is why they've summoned him for the second day. Congress yesterday held this massive show of strength during Rahul's grilling. Today as well, Congress leaders have announced that they will gather in large numbers at the Congress office and then march towards the ED office. The BJP has referred to all of this as drama by the Congress and questioned the Grand Old Party, saying if they have nothing to hide, why do all of this drama? Meanwhile, the Congress has also upped the ante, claiming that several top party leaders who were detained yesterday were manhandled by the cops. Listen to what Randeep Singh Surjewala had to say on that.
नमस्कार साथियों, दिल्ली पुलिस का अत्याचार मोदी सरकार की बर्बरता यहीं नहीं रुकी। श्री केसी वेणुगोपाल पर संगठन महासचिव पर जानलेवा हमला बोला गया। दिल्ली के प्रभारी श्री शक्ति सिंह गोहिल को लाठियों से बर्बरता से मारा गया और दिल्ली पुलिस की मोदी सरकार के बदले की कार्रवाई का आलम देखिए। देश के पूर्व गृह मंत्री, देश के पूर्व वित्त मंत्री श्री पी चिदम्बरम जी की पसली तोड़ दी गई, उन्हें धक्के मारे गए, उनका चश्मा अखिल भारतीय कांग्रेस कमेटी के कार्यालय के बाहर जमीन पर फेंक दिया गया। क्या मोदी सरकार को ये मालूम नहीं कि देश के गृह मंत्री से कैसा व्यवहार होगा? हमारे सांसद श्री प्रमोद तिवारी को सड़क पर फेंक कर मारा गया, उनका सर जमीन पर लगा और उनकी पसली में फ्रैक्चर हो गया। चिदम्बरम जी, प्रमोद तिवारी जी को हेयरलाइन फ्रैक्चर्स हैं उनकी पसलियों में। क्या शांति प्रिय तरीके से श्री राहुल गांधी जी के साथ चलकर जाना पाप हो गया है?
Let's take this across to Shreya Chatterjee. She's joining us live from the ED office. We also have Supriya Bharadwaj getting us all the live updates from outside Rahul Gandhi's residence. Supriya, I'd like to begin with you. Good morning. Another day when Rahul Gandhi is expected to appear before the Enforcement Directorate, but it looks like the Congress has a similar plan of action as yesterday. Rahul Gandhi will be making his way to the ED office at about 11, and Congress leaders again are gathering in large numbers at the Congress headquarters.
Well, good morning to you, Akshata, as well as to our viewers. As far as the Congress party is concerned, all the MPs have been called at the AICC headquarters, 24 Akbar Road. The entire area has turned into a fortress, especially the New Delhi district. And today, even the police has taken to social media, posting their information about the routes which have been placed, so that there is this traffic jam situation doesn't arise once again, and second being that of asking the protester not to come, as section 144 has been imposed in the entire New Delhi district. Also, the Congress MPs have said that they will be reaching to AICC headquarters around 9:30, and it can be an action replay, because when we asked from a lot of Congress MPs, they said there is a possibility that Rahul Gandhi, Congress's former president, whose residence where we are at the moment, might join them around 10:30 or so, and from there again they will carry out.
My apologies for interrupting. Let's get you a quick breaking update on all the politics that we've been seeing playing out over this particular issue, over Rahul Gandhi appearing before the ED and Congress's so-called Satyagraha. The BJP has in fact lashed out again over the Congress's double standards, as they call it. BJP said that when the ED acts on Satyendra Jain, the Congress welcomes it and demands his sacking. But when ED summons the Crown Prince, it becomes vendetta. Shehzad Poonawalla of the BJP is with us on this broadcast. Shehzad, good morning. You're saying that the Congress welcomes raids on other parties, but then cries political vendetta, political conspiracy when it is to do with their leaders.
कांग्रेस के दांत और हाथी के दांत खाने के अलग, दिखाने के अलग, and therefore Congress says when ED takes action on Satyagraha Jain, it's chamatkar, and when it takes action on Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi against the Parivar, it is gunegar. These double standards and this victimhood card only the Congress first Parivar. They got no relief from the court. The IT reassessment order was upheld by the High Court and the Supreme Court. The trial court has issued summons to Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi. It was upheld by the High Court of Law. They got no relief from any place. Young Indians was used as a special purpose vehicle to usurp property of 2,000 crores belonging to freedom fighters and the people of India for parivarik gain. In fact, when the Young Indians got the shares of AJL, people like Shanti Bhushan and Markandeya Kaju opposed it and said that there were 1,000 plus shareholders. How could the shares be transferred surreptitiously to these two people, namely Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi? All of these matters have been in public domain for 7 years. The Congress has got no relief, but now they play the victimhood card. The question is, how can ED action against Satyagraha Jain be valid? And the Delhi Congress and the Congress party says, very good, now action should be taken on Satyagraha Jain. But in their own case, they say, no, ED is very bad. So, these double standards are actually, therefore I call AICC as All India Corrupt Committee and All India Contradictory Committee.
Yeah,
Contradiction karna, confrontation karna inka swabhav hai.
Shehzad, you made these points last night also in the discussion with Rajdeep, and the Congress's primary argument counter to you was largely the timing of this, asking why now Rahul Gandhi has been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate.
You see, either they can say this is vendetta politics, or either they can say that this action has taken place after several years. They can't say both these arguments in the same breath. But having said that, 7 years, they should tell us that if they were clean, innocent, and this was driven only by vendetta and vindictiveness, can they show one instance where a court of law has given them relief? The fact of the matter is that timing of the issue does not mean that the criminality of the issue dies. Now, you know that processes in this country take time. 34 years it took for Lalu Prasad Yadav to be convicted. And despite that, it was called as vendetta politics, when a court of law convicted Lalu Prasad Yadav multiple occasions. So I think that instead of trying vendetta, and victimhood, if these people are truly imandar, then why should they not go to the courts of law or to the agencies and cooperate? Why this confrontation? Why this drama? Why this nautanki? And why call this Satyagraha when it's a scamagraha?
Okay, Shehzad, thank you for joining us here on India Today this morning. The BJP saying that this is clear double standards by the Congress. They welcome ED action against the likes of Satyagraha Jain, but when it is to do with Rahul Gandhi, with their own leaders, they then cry vendetta, they then cry political conspiracy. So this is the BJP's latest attack, even as we're counting down to Rahul Gandhi's second appearance before the Enforcement Directorate. Let me get you also an update of what's happening on the ground. Aishwarya Paliwal is reporting from the Congress headquarters. Aishwarya, the Congress leadership has made it clear that today, again, we're going to be seeing a repeat of what happened yesterday. Congress leaders, cadre is going to be gathering in large numbers at the party headquarters.
Well, it looks like there will definitely be an action replay, and I'll start by showing you the kind of security that has been put up. In fact, we are seeing layers of barricades being put up. Security personnel present in large numbers, the RAF present in large numbers, because the administration is thinking that we will see a repeat of what we saw yesterday. That was level 1 of barricading that you saw, Akshata. The Delhi police personnel present in very, very large numbers. On the other side is the second level of barricading that you are seeing right here. This is barely 10 meters from where the AICC headquarters is, and also barely 10 meters from Sonia Gandhi's house. So the administration is up on the toes. We are expecting the MPs to reach here in another half an hour to 40 minutes. And once crowd gathers in large numbers, we could see some kind of a scuffle take place between the protesters of
Interrupting, we're cutting across live to a Congress briefing.
पिछले 8 सालों में अगर आप विधायकों, राज्यसभा, प्रदेश सरकारों में खरीद फरोख्त की जांच करवा लेते, आपको तो पैसे का भी पता होगा, तो बहुत रिकवरी हो जाती। खैर, मैं आपको विषय पर ले आता हूं। इलेक्शन मैनेजमेंट डिपार्टमेंट ईडी और मोदी सरकार का डर। पहला सवाल, मैं 4 सवाल आपके बीच में लेकर आया हूं। आखिर मोदी सरकार को, आखिर भाजपा के निशाने पर श्री राहुल गांधी और कांग्रेस क्यों है? दूसरा सवाल, क्या जनता के मुद्दे उठाने वाली मुखर आवाज को दबाने का षड्यंत्र है ईडी की कार्यवाही? ये सवाल हैं जो शायद टेलीविजन पूछ नहीं पा रहा। तीसरा सवाल, क्या श्री राहुल गांधी मोदी सरकार द्वारा चंद धन्ना सेठों के हित साधने में रोड़ा बने हैं? चौथा सवाल, भाजपा सरकार हजारों करोड़ रुपया विज्ञापन पर खर्च कर 40-50 मंत्री लगाकर सारे मीडिया पर दबाव डालकर कल पूरा दिन आपको व्हाट्सएप यूनिवर्सिटी पर मैसेज भेज ये बताकर के ये चलाइए, ये चलाइए, ये चलाइए, केवल एक आवाज श्री राहुल गांधी पर ही इतनी हमलावर क्यों है? ये 4 सवाल हैं जिन्हें जानना देश को जरूरी है। आइए इन सवालों के जवाब जानें और समझें कि क्यों मोदी सरकार कांग्रेस की एकजुटता और श्री राहुल गांधी की बुलंद आवाज से डर गई है। पहला, जब चीन ने हमारे देश की सरजमी पर कब्जा किया, हमारे जवान शहीद हुए, तो प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा, सर्वदलीय बैठक में कहा, न कोई घुसा है और न कोई आया है। तब विपक्ष की एकमात्र आवाज श्री राहुल गांधी ने सरकार की इस झूठ को घेरा और देश की माटी के लिए, शहीद जवानों के लिए आवाज उठाई। आज 2 साल बीत जाने के बावजूद भी चीन को भारत मां की सरजमी से खदेड़ नहीं पाए, इसलिए श्री राहुल गांधी से परेशानी है। दूसरा, महंगाई से हो रही जनता की बदहाली पर श्री राहुल गांधी ने लगातार सरकार को घेरा। पेट्रोल डीजल के दामों पर, रसोई गैस पर के दामों पर, सीएनजी पीएनजी के दामों पर, बढ़ते खाने पीने की वस्तुओं के दामों पर उन्होंने लगातार देश के मध्यम वर्ग, देश के नौकरी पेशा लोग, देश के गरीब, देश के दलित, देश के पिछड़े, देश के आदिवासी की आवाज उठाई और सरकार को घेरा, जिसका जवाब सरकार के पास नहीं, इसलिए श्री राहुल गांधी से परेशानी है। तीसरा, डूबती अर्थव्यवस्था और गिरते रुपये को लेकर, एमएसएमई की बदहाली को लेकर, छिनती नौकरियों को लेकर, चौतरफा 45 साल की सबसे भयंकर बेरोजगारी को लेकर, युवाओं के गुस्से को लेकर श्री राहुल गांधी ने सवालों की झड़ी लगाकर मोदी सरकार को घेरा, इसलिए श्री राहुल गांधी से परेशानी है। चौथी बात, कोरोना में जब मोदी जी ने अपनी जिम्मेवारी से मुंह मोड़ लिया, उस समय श्री राहुल गांधी ने समय रहते न केवल सरकार को चेताया, बल्कि सरकार को देर से ही सही कार्यवाही के लिए, मदद के लिए मजबूर किया। जब सरकार कोरोना के टीके से हजारों करोड़ का मुनाफा प्राइवेट कंपनियों को कमवा रही थी, तो श्री राहुल गांधी ने सरकार को बाध्य किया कि टीकाकरण मुफ्त हो, जो करने पर वो मजबूर हुए। जब लाखों मजदूर हजारों किलोमीटर पैदल चलकर अपने घर जाने को मजबूर थे, तो सरकार को कटघरे में खड़ा करने वाली आवाज का नाम श्री राहुल गांधी है, इसलिए श्री राहुल गांधी से परेशानी है। जब लाखों किसान न्याय की गुहार के लिए राजधानी दिल्ली के बाहर 8 महीने बैठे रहे, जब मोदी सरकार उन्हें आतंकवादी और नक्सलवादी बता रही थी, जब उनको अपराधी और देशद्रोही घोषित कर दिया गया था, जब उनके रास्ते में कील और कांटे बिछा दिए गए थे, जब 700 किसान कुर्बानी के लिए दिल्ली की सीमा पर मजबूर हो गए, तो ट्रैक्टर यात्रा कर, किसान और खेत मजदूर की आवाज उठाकर और किसान की संसद में देश के 100 सांसद ले जाकर श्री राहुल गांधी ने किसान के साथ कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर किसान की आवाज उठाई और सरकार को मजबूर किया कि वो तीनों काले कानून वापस लेने पड़े, इसलिए श्री राहुल गांधी से परेशानी है। देश में नफरत के माहौल के खिलाफ भाईचारे व अनेकता में एकता के विचार के लिए एकमात्र आवाज जिसने सरकार की आंख में आंख डालकर कहा कि धर्मांधता और एक विषैले बंटवारे से ये देश और नफरत से इस देश का भला नहीं हो सकता, वे श्री राहुल गांधी हैं। उनको कठघरे में खड़ा कर दिया और बाद में फिर उन्होंने खिसियानी बिल्ली खंबा नोचे दो प्रवक्ताओं को निकालकर माफी मांगनी पड़ी। इसलिए श्री राहुल गांधी से परेशानी है। प्रधानमंत्री जी, कभी आप एक प्राइवेट कंपनी के नुमाइंदे बनकर राफेल का ठेका फ्रांस में दिलवाते हैं और कभी एक प्राइवेट कंपनी का नुमाइंदा बनकर श्रीलंका में प्राइवेट कंपनी को बिजली का ठेका दिलवाने की सिफारिश करते हैं। श्री राहुल गांधी ने मुट्ठी भर उद्योगपतियों के नुमाइंदे बने प्रधानमंत्री से सवाल कर उनको कठघरे में खड़ा कर दिया। इसलिए श्री राहुल गांधी से परेशानी है। दोस्तों, क्रोनोलॉजी समझिए, देशवासियों क्रोनोलॉजी समझिए। मोदी सरकार ने बौखलाकर इलेक्शन मैनेजमेंट डिपार्टमेंट यानी ईडी के पीछे छिपकर आपकी सत्यनिष्ठा की आवाज पर हमला बोला है। यह हमला विपक्ष की उस निर्भीक आवाज पर है जो जनता के सवालों को दृढ़ता से सरकार के समक्ष रखते हैं और सरकार से जवाबदेही मांगते हैं, जो जनता के मुद्दों को भयमुक्त तरीके से निडरता से उठाते हैं। भाजपाई सत्ता की एजेंसियों के डर से कितने ही लोगों ने समझौता कर लिया, भाजपा में माफीनामा देकर शामिल हो गए, दूध के धुले बन गए। कितनों ने घुटने टेक दिए, कितनों ने अपनी आत्मा बेच दी। लेकिन श्री राहुल गांधी वो व्यक्ति हैं जिन्होंने सरकार की आंख में आंख डालकर जनता से सवाल उठाए, इसलिए उनसे परेशानी है। साथियों, दोस्तों, देशवासियों, ये हमला उसी निर्भीक आवाज पर है जो आपकी आवाज है। ये हमला जनता के मुद्दों पर है, कांग्रेस या श्री राहुल गांधी पर नहीं। ये हमला बेरोजगारों पर है, ये हमला गरीबों पर है, ये हमला मध्यम वर्ग पर है, ये हमला नौकरी पेशा लोगों पर है, ये हमला महिलाओं, युवाओं, दलितों, पिछड़ों, आदिवासियों पर है। ये हमला देश के संविधान से जुड़े मुद्दों पर सवाल पूछने पर है। इसलिए हम फिर कहते हैं, हम ना डरेंगे, ना झुकेंगे, ना दबेंगे। राहुल गांधी और कांग्रेस देश के लिए लड़ेंगे। कोई प्रश्न आप पूछना चाहें तो एक एक करके आपका स्वागत है। आदरणीय मित्र, ये बताइए, हेमंता बिस्वा शर्मा जी जब कांग्रेस में थे तो लुई बर्गर केस में, शारदा घोटाले में उन्हें ईडी और सीबीआई ने बुलाया या नहीं बुलाया? उसके बाद वो कांग्रेस से दौड़कर भाजपा में शामिल हो गए। आज भाजपा के मुख्यमंत्री हैं। तो कहां गया शारदा घोटाला और कहां गया लुई बर्गर केस और कहां गए ईडी के संबंध और कहां है सीबीआई? कर्नाटक के मुख्यमंत्री, पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री माननीय येदियुरप्पा साहब, उन पर ईडी का केस दर्ज है या नहीं दर्ज है? उनको ईडी के समन और बेटे को आए हैं या नहीं आए हैं? परंतु 8 साल बीत गए, कहां गया ईडी का केस? नारायण राणे जी जब कांग्रेस में थे तो उन पर रेड हुई, ईडी और इनकम टैक्स के मुकदमे दर्ज हुए, फिर नारायण राणे जी बीजेपी में शामिल हो गए। अब वो पाक साफ हैं, ना ईडी का केस रहा ना सीबीआई का मुकदमा रहा। सोमेन मित्रा जी, याद करिए, सोमेन मित्रा जी कांग्रेस में भी थे और टीएमसी में भी थे, तब उन पर मुकदमा था, ईडी की पेशियां लगती थी। अब वो बीजेपी में जब शामिल हो गए तो सब कुछ खत्म हो गया। रमन सिंह जी, क्या उनके ऊपर और उनके शायद बेटे पर कोई ईडी का केस है या नहीं है? तो क्या हुआ 8 साल में उस मुकदमे का, जो पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री हैं? कर्नाटक में जो 40% कमीशन खाते पकड़े गए सारे मंत्रीगण, उन पर ईडी का केस क्यों नहीं हुआ? मुकुल रॉय जी, जब तक वो एक दूसरी पार्टी में थे, उन पर ईडी का केस था। फिर वो बीजेपी में चले गए, ईडी का केस ठीक हो गया। शुभेंदु अधिकारी जी, उन पर बहुत सारी कार्यवाही हुई। जैसे ही वो बीजेपी में चले गए, वो सब ठीक हो गया। एक लंबी लिस्ट है सैकड़ों लोगों की। बीजेपी में भर्ती हो जाओ, दूध से धुले हो जाओ, सारे मुकदमे बंद। तो मुझे बताइए, अगर देश में जो आजादी का, स्वतंत्रता संग्राम का समाचार पत्र नेशनल हेरल्ड है, उसके कर्मचारियों की तनख्वाह देना, पत्रकारों की तनख्वाह देना, उसका बिजली के बिल का भुगतान करना, उसके हाउस टैक्स का भुगतान करना, उसके बिल्डिंग चार्जेस का भुगतान करना, अगर 10 साल में 90 करोड़ रुपए देकर कांग्रेस पार्टी ने यह किया, तो ये क्या अपराध है, देशवासी बताएं। फिर तो हर पत्रकार दोषी है, और हर अखबार और टेलीविजन का मालिक दोषी है, हर बिजली के बिल का भुगतान करने वाला दोषी है, हर हाउस टैक्स देने वाला दोषी है। 140 करोड़ देशवासियों को ईडी में बुला लीजिए। और एक आखिरी बात और इसमें जोड़ना चाहूंगा साथियों, एक आंकड़ा बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण है। ये जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी का इलेक्शन मैनेजमेंट डिपार्टमेंट है ना, इसके पास 5422 मुकदमे हैं। 5422 मुकदमे इन्होंने दर्ज कर रखे हैं। और कमाल यह है कि उनमें से 98% मुकदमे, यानी 5310 मुकदमे मोदी जी ने दर्ज किए पिछले 8 साल में। क्या यह नहीं दर्शाता कि ईडी अब इलेक्शन मैनेजमेंट डिपार्टमेंट बन गया? 5422 कुल मुकदमे हैं, 5422. Out of this, 5310 cases have been registered during Modi government. That is 98%. Does it not show that ED has now become election management department? Ashish ji. आदरणीय मित्र, आज फिर पूरी दिल्ली को छावनी में तब्दील कर दिया गया। क्यों? दिल्ली के लोगों का रास्ता क्यों रोका जा रहा है? राष्ट्रीय राजधानी में आने वाले हर व्यक्ति को क्यों रोका जा रहा है? दिल्ली के लोगों को क्यों ऐसी सुविधा दी जा रही है? दिल्ली के लोग कतारों में क्यों खड़े हैं? क्या हमसे इस देश की सुरक्षा को खतरा है? क्या अगर कांग्रेस के नेता, कांग्रेस कार्य समिति के सदस्य, देश की संसद के सदस्यगण, कांग्रेस के पदाधिकारी, पूर्व केंद्रीय मंत्रीगण, कांग्रेस के साधारण कार्यकर्ता अगर पैदल चलकर 1 किलोमीटर चले जाएंगे, तो दिल्ली की मोदी सरकार का सिंहासन क्यों डगमगा रहा है? दिल्ली को छावनी में तब्दील कर भाजपा ने यह साबित कर दिया कि वो एक कायर सरकार है, वो एक डरपोक सरकार है। जिस प्रकार से जानलेवा हमला बोला गया भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस के संगठन महासचिव श्री केसी वेणुगोपाल पर कल, दिल्ली के प्रभारी श्री शक्ति सिंह गोहिल को, जो गुजरात से आते हैं और सांसद हैं, टारगेट बनाकर उन्हें मारा गया, टारगेट बनाकर उन्हें चोट पहुंचाई गई। देश के गृह मंत्री, पूर्व वित्त मंत्री श्री पी चिदम्बरम की पसली तोड़ दी गई, उन्हें धक्के मारकर उनका चश्मा तक जमीन पर गिरा दिया गया। उत्तर प्रदेश में 10 साल तक विपक्ष के नेता सांसद श्री प्रमोद तिवारी को धक्के मारकर पुलिस द्वारा सड़क पर फेंका गया, पसलियां तोड़ दी गई। जिस प्रकार से कांग्रेस के कार्यकर्ताओं को बेरहमी से पीटा गया, जिस प्रकार से दिल्ली के हर थाने में लगभग 20,000 कांग्रेस कार्यकर्ताओं को, नेताओं को 12 घंटे तक नाजायज रोक कर रखा गया। हम सब लोगों को भी रात के 12:15 बजे रिहा किया गया। इस देश में प्रजातंत्र है या मोदी जी की बेलगाम तानाशाही, इसका जवाब उन्हें देना पड़ेगा। और एक बात जान ले डरपोक कायर मोदी सरकार, हम गांधी के उत्तराधिकारी हैं, हम फिर पैदल चलकर जाएंगे। हमारा सत्याग्रह, हमारा सत्य की खोज का ये आंदोलन, हमारा उन लोगों को जो लोगों की आवाज दबाना चाहते हैं उनको बेनकाब करने का ये पूरा आंदोलन ये रुकेगा नहीं, हम फिर जाएंगे। और मैं एक बात और जोड़ना चाहूंगा। I'll answer his second question, then I'll come to you. आप मुझे बताइए मोदी जी, टेलीविजन चैनल पर आपके पत्रकार मित्र कुछ जो हैं और कुछ प्रवक्ता, पत्रकार मित्र कुछ जो प्रवक्ता बन जाते हैं और कुछ प्रवक्ता चिल्ला चिल्लाकर कई बातें कहते हैं। क्या मुझे 3 सवालों का जवाब देंगे? पीएमएलए में जो मुकदमे में आपने हमें ईडी में बुलाया है, उसके लिए तो एक प्राथमिकी एफआईआर दर्ज होनी चाहिए। कहां है वो एफआईआर? आज तक कोई एफआईआर दर्ज नहीं, क्योंकि कोई अपराध ही नहीं। सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी की प्राइवेट कंप्लेंट है और वो प्राइवेट कंप्लेंट सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी की दरखास्त पर स्टे कर दी गई है, यानी वो कंप्लेंट भी नहीं है आज के दिन। तो क्या अपराध है? ईडी के समन देने के लिए ये कानूनी जरूरत है कि एक एफआईआर दर्ज होनी चाहिए किसी थाने में। बताइए कौन से थाने में एफआईआर दर्ज है? किसी थाने में कोई एफआईआर दर्ज नहीं। प्राइवेट कंप्लेंट पर भी स्टे लगवा दिया है। तो फिर आप ईडी के समन इशू कैसे कर सकते हैं? यह अपने आप में गैर कानूनी है। और आप कहते हैं कि कांग्रेस ने 90 करोड़ रुपया क्यों दे दिया? हमने दिया, हम मानते हैं, डंके की चोट पर मानते हैं। पर अगर कोई इनकम टैक्स की अवहेलना हो, और पार्टी को तो इनकम टैक्स देना ही नहीं, तो उससे एफआईआर नहीं मान सकते आप। तो अपने आप में ये पूरी कार्यवाही गैरकानूनी है, असंवैधानिक है, पूर्वाग्रह से ग्रस्त है, राजनीतिक प्रतिशोध की आग में धधकते हुए प्रधानमंत्री जी की कार्यवाही है। इसका कोई जवाब आपके पास हो तो देशवासियों को अवश्य बताइएगा, क्योंकि बगैर एफआईआर के ईडी ना किसी को बुला सकता, ना मुकदमा दर्ज कर सकता, ना ईसीआईआर दर्ज कर सकता। ये इस देश का कानून है। पर कोई बात नहीं, हम हर सवाल का जवाब देंगे, हम हर सवाल का सामना करेंगे, क्योंकि सत्य को अब ना परेशान किया जा सकता, न पराजित। I haven't seen their reaction, so I will not like to comment upon it. And I will like to concentrate on the facts in hand.
So that is Congress's Randeep Singh Surjewala lashing out at the BJP, maintaining here that Rahul Gandhi is merely being targeted and this is a political conspiracy by the BJP. But let me also explain to you right now what the National Herald case is all about. There's also an allegation now of another company, a shell company called Dotex Manufacturing, whose name is emerged in this investigation. Let's simplify this as much as we can for you. Associated Journals Limited back in 2008 had a huge debt of about 90 crore rupees. And so the Congress decided to give them a loan of 90 crores to settle their debt. It didn't work. The company shut down. 2 years later, Young Indian was founded in 2010. Now, here's where there are allegations of, assets being transferred from Associated Journals to Young India for throwaway prices. We're talking about a 90 crore loan that was with Associated Journals being transferred to Young Indian for just 50 lakh rupees. 90 crores given for just 50 lakh rupees. Now, as far as Young Indian is concerned, you've got a 76% stake with the Gandhis. Sonia Gandhi has a 38% stake. Rahul Gandhi has a 38% stake. Besides that, Motilal Vora, Oscar Fernandez have a 24% stake. So if you look at that itself, there are questions about how this loan and all assets of AGL was transferred to Young Indian. Then there's another aspect that the ED is looking into. Dotex Merchandise Private Limited, shown as a Kolkata-based firm, the suspicion is that this was a shell company. They gave a 1 crore rupees loan to Young Indian in 2010, when Young Indian was just 1 month old as a company and was worth about 5 lakh rupees. And despite that, 1 crore loan was given by Dotex Merchandise. The allegation by the BJP was that this was actually a money laundering operation. But all of this essentially sums up for you the allegations right now against the Gandhis with regards to the acquiring of AGL's assets by Young Indian. The loan being transferred of 90 crores for just 50 lakhs, and also this 1 crore loan that was given by Dotex Merchandise to Young Indian. Again, the Congress has maintained that Young Indian is a not-for-profit company. All right, breaking news that's coming in right now. Priyanka Gandhi is set to reach Rahul Gandhi's residence anytime now. Yesterday too, Priyanka Gandhi was there with Rahul, walked alongside him to the Enforcement Directorate office, and today too, she is going to be accompanying her brother. Anytime now, Priyanka Gandhi is expected at Rahul Gandhi's residence. Remember, Rahul is expected to appear before the ED at about 11:30 this morning. So it looks like it's going to be the same spectacle that we saw yesterday. Today too, Priyanka will accompany her brother Rahul Gandhi to the ED office. Supriya Bharadwaj is joining us with more details on this. Supriya, the Gandhis once again using this to send out a message of solidarity to show that they're united in this fight against the central agency, against this investigation, which they've referred to as, a political vendetta. Priyanka Gandhi will be accompanying Rahul Gandhi, we're being told, much like what happened yesterday. We've lost that connection with Supriya. We'll go across to her in just a few moments from now. But Priyanka Gandhi will be meeting with Rahul Gandhi. She's going to be meeting him at his residence and then accompanying him all the way to the ED office. Yesterday too, we saw similar scenes of Priyanka marching alongside her brother, walking up to the ED office. And today, it's going to be a similar photo op that the Gandhis will indulge in. So any moment now, Priyanka Gandhi expected at Rahul's residence. As we speak, several Congress MPs, leaders have also gathered at the party headquarters. They're going to be marching also to the Enforcement Directorate office, much like yesterday. Today too, permission hasn't been granted for any sort of protest march, or as the Congress calls it, a Satyagraha. So we'll have to see exactly what plays out. But some news also coming in of Congress MPs who have been detained already this morning from the Congress headquarters. So crowds not being allowed to gather. All of this happening at a time when the Congress has also claimed that some of these senior-most leaders have been manhandled by the Delhi police. It sets the stage again for showdown on the streets of the national capital. As far as Rahul is concerned, he's going to be walking to the ED office from the Congress headquarters, accompanied by his sister Priyanka Gandhi. And the news that's coming in of high drama that's playing out at the Congress headquarters, where Congress leaders have been coming together. Many of them are being detained right now by the Delhi police, being taken away in buses while they're gathering at the Congress headquarters. The reason for that is the cops maintain that no permission has been given for the protest today as well. Congress MP Manikyam Tagore has confirmed that he's been detained. He's tweeted out a video showing many of them seated in a bus and being taken away from the Congress headquarters. He's asking, putting out a message on social media saying, today again we've been detained. What is happening in Delhi? Why is the Home Minister doing this? And he's tagged the Lok Sabha Speaker on this. The Congress has maintained that it's their democratic right to protest. It's their democratic right to stand by their leader, and yet they are being detained time and again. So already the drama that's playing out early this morning in the national capital as several Congress leaders gathered at the Congress headquarters with the intention of marching with Rahul Gandhi to the ED office. Handful of them, we're being told, have already been detained. Listen in to exactly what Manikyam Tagore has said.
Today we came to the AICC, myself, Punya ji,
I'd like to talk to Vinci ED that yesterday he had provided all the...
Nizamuddin, or Meena ji, we are all there. We are not allowed inside the AICC office, and the police misbehaved with us and they are taking to unknown position. And we feel that the force of Amit Shah can't stop us. Today we came to the AICC, myself, Punya ji,
I'd like to talk to Vinci ED that yesterday he had provided all the...
Nizamuddin, or Meena ji, we are all there. We are not allowed inside the AICC office, and the police misbehaved with us and they are taking to unknown position, and we feel that the force of Amit Shah can't stop us. Today we came to...
So that is the video message that's been put out by Congress MP Manikyam Tagore. He's showing us around the bus in which he, along with several other Congress leaders, have been detained. He says that they were protesting at the Congress headquarters and then taken in for no reason. This is pretty much what played out yesterday as well. The Delhi police maintains that there is no permission that's been granted for any sort of protest march. The Congress maintains that this is a peaceful protest, and in a democracy they have a right to go ahead and stand by their leader. So this is in fact the big update that's coming in right now on this story. We will in fact try to also connect with Mr. Manikyam Tagore in a few moments. He's in fact in that video mentioned that they don't know where the cops right now are taking them, but they've all been pushed and shoved inside a bus and they're being taken away from the Congress headquarters. Shreya Chatterjee is joining us live from the ED office with more details on this. So Shreya, already we're seeing that Congress workers are not being allowed to protest at the Congress headquarters, and there's a lot of barricading, huge security also where you are at the ED office.
Well, absolutely. So, Akshita, just to give a sense of it on the ground, you can see just behind me the kind of security arrangements that have been made just outside the Enforcement Directorate office. For some time early in the morning, we saw the traffic movement was allowed, but now the traffic movement has also been stopped. All senior Delhi police officials are also wrecking the place. Remember, yesterday, over 459 Congress workers were detained for protesting against the ED summons of Rahul Gandhi. The women workers were released early, and then followed by that, after Rahul Gandhi exited from the questioning, the remaining of them were also released by the Delhi police. Now today Rahul Gandhi will be questioned for the second time. Yesterday his question lasted for almost over 10 hours, out of which 8.5 hours is what is the time period for which he was questioned. The remaining time he was overlooking the answers that were typed out, and today he will continue to face the heat of the Enforcement Directorate, because sources inside the ED mentioned that he was evasive in some of the answers yesterday, some of the answers were inconclusive, and there are certain evidences that needs to be run through while Rahul Gandhi will be questioned today yet again.
Okay, Shreya getting us that live update from outside the ED office, where again there's been unprecedented security deployment there by the Delhi police. Cops making it very clear that there's no permission that's been granted right now for in fact this particular protest march by the Congress. The Grand Old Party referring to this as a Satyagraha. They're saying that this is a peaceful protest march, and that's why they should be allowed to go ahead with this particular agitation. We're getting you the latest updates of what's really playing out right now in Delhi. Rahul Gandhi is set to appear before the ED in just about an hour and a half from now, at about 11:30. Priyanka Gandhi is making her way as we speak to Rahul Gandhi's residence, and then the Gandhis, of course, in that show of unity, will be walking up to the ED office. But even as that is happening, you've got several Congress leaders there going ahead and also staging a protest at the Congress headquarters. the grand old party maintaining here that this is a peaceful agitation and there's no reason the Delhi police should be detaining their leaders. They have a similar plan of action as yesterday, which is that while Rahul Gandhi makes his way to the ED office, they will gather in large numbers and walk from the AICC headquarters, from the Congress headquarters all the way to the ED office. It's very close, it's a few kilometers. But you see what played out yesterday when Rahul Gandhi made his way inside, as hundreds of Congress cadre also were there with him, expressing solidarity with Rahul Gandhi. The BJP has dismissed, in fact, all of these images of a protest, saying it's all drama. All right, the latest update we're also getting you is that Priyanka Gandhi has now reached Rahul Gandhi's residence. She stood steadfast with her brother yesterday, today as well. She's going to be accompanying him to the ED office, is what we're being told. So essentially, Priyanka Gandhi also making it very clear that she is part of this Satyagraha, as the Congress calls it. She's meeting with Rahul ahead of the ED questioning. She will be accompanying Rahul all the way to the ED office as well. Yesterday, Priyanka was seen standing with her brother. They were walking right up, in fact, to the ED office. So this is in fact the big update that's coming in. At about 11 is when Rahul is expected to leave his residence, make his way to the ED office. And Priyanka Gandhi is there right now at Rahul Gandhi's residence, meeting with him. Yesterday, during in fact the lunch break that Rahul Gandhi was given by the Enforcement Directorate, he made his way out to the ED office, met with his mother Sonia Gandhi as well, who's also, remember, been summoned right now by the Enforcement Directorate. Let's take this across now to Congress MP Manikyam Tagore, who just a few moments ago put out a video saying he's been detained by the Delhi police. Mr. Manikyam Tagore, take us through exactly what's happened now.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yesterday night, we were being released at 11:45 from the Mandir Marg police station with more than 700 Congress workers were released, and we were 8 MPs were there. Today morning, the MPs were asked to meet in the AICC headquarters at 24 Akbar Road at 9 o'clock. So when we reached there in the 9 o'clock to the AICC office in opposite to the Honorable Vice President of India's residence, there is a gate, and therefore we reached there. Delhi police arrested us because they told that 144 is there. We were only 4 people were there, myself and senior leaders, PL Punia ji, and the MLA from Uttarakhand, Qazi Nizamuddin, and our senior leader from Rajasthan, Mr. Meena, were standing there. 4 of us, they put 144 and they arrested us and they taken to the police station, Mandir Marg. It shows this, why the Home Minister, particularly Mr. Amit Shah, is so afraid about Congress men. And when we come to our office also, they are arresting me. Where we are heading for it? We did the Tukulak Raj, we are heading for it. We are only confused about it.
Mr. Tagore, so currently you're at the police station, because I know that you put out a video when you were taken from the Congress headquarters in a bus. You've been taken to the police station right now, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we are in the police station in Mandir Marg. We have been asked to sit in the open, and I can show to you Mr. Punia ji here, who is sitting with us, PL Punia ji, who is sitting with us, and senior leader from Congress party. And if you want to talk to him also, you can speak to him.
Mr. Tagore and Mr. Punia, can you tell us, yesterday there was an allegation that Congress leaders were manhandled by the Delhi police. Tell us what really happened there when you were protesting yesterday, Mr. Punia.
कल ही नहीं, बल्कि आज भी मैन हैंडल किया गया, और हम लोग जब रोक रहे थे और उन्होंने बताने की कोशिश की कि हम अपने ऑफिस जा रहे हैं, हमारे अपने ऑफिस में जाने में कौन सी लॉ एंड ऑर्डर पोजीशन खराब होती है, वो तो नहीं खराब होती। तो हम जब वो नहीं माने तो हम जमीन पर बैठ गए, सड़क के ऊपर बैठ गए, और जबरदस्ती हम लोगों को मैन हैंडल करके उठा के, उसके वीडियो फुटेज भी हैं, वो जबरदस्ती उठा के लेके जा रहे हैं। तो ये तो इस पुलिस का रवैया है, जो नरेंद्र मोदी जी के इशारे पे, अमित शाह के इशारे पे ये सब पूरा हो रहा है। लेकिन उनको बता देना चाहते हैं कि हम लोग किसी से डरने वाले नहीं है, झुकने वाले नहीं है, हमारा जो न्याय के लिए संघर्ष है, सत्याग्रह है, वो निरंतर जारी रहेगा।
जी पुनिया जी, बीजेपी ये भी बोल रहे हैं कि ये जो सत्याग्रह आप और कांग्रेस स्टेज कर रहे हैं, ये पूरा ड्रामा है, एक तमाशा है।
हम उनसे सर्टिफिकेट नहीं चाहिए, उनको हम वो ड्रामा कहते रहे, हम सत्याग्रह कहेंगे और हमारे लोग सत्याग्रह कहेंगे। सत्याग्रह कर रहे हैं तो अच्छे, हाथ में कुछ नहीं, डंडा तक नहीं है, हथियार तो रहने का सवाल ही नहीं है। तो इसलिए सत्याग्रह नहीं तो और क्या है, सत्याग्रह सत्य के लिए आग्रह कर रहे हैं। और जो जबरदस्ती, जो पॉलिटिकली मोटिवेटेड जो इन्होंने सम्मन जारी किया है और अनावश्यक रूप से राहुल जी को हैरेसमेंट कर रहे हैं, वहां पर बैठा के 10-10 घंटे इंटेरोगेशन करके, तो ये उसके लिए हमारी मांग है। और ये सत्याग्रह है और नहीं, और तो क्या है, सत्याग्रह है।
जी पुनिया जी, I have one final question for Mr. Manikyam Tagore. So thank you, Punya ji, for joining us. Mr. Tagore. Hello. Mr. Tagore, thank you for handing over the phone to Punya ji as well. But one final question to you, sir. The BJP has said that, this exposes the double standards of the Congress. So on one hand, you hail the ED action against the likes of Satyendra Jain in Delhi, but when it happens to your own leader, you hit the streets in protests like this.
Problem with BJP is that how they are making the ED, as few of the Panna Pramukhs in the ED has been used to malign the Congress leadership. There is no FIR, there is no charge sheet, it's a bogus case. 2012, these kind of things has been coming up. Nothing is there. Then why we are breaking up now? That's the question. That other cases with Aam Aadmi or Jain's places where they are recovered money and others is a totally different case. Here it is a different case. They should understand that when there is nothing, iota of evidence, even the thing that ED legal department has given a report in 2015 itself, that this case is a shut case. There is nothing before the court of law. It can't stand before the court of law. Everybody knows it.
Okay.
And because of few of the Panna Pramukhs who had become MLAs from who had worked in ED, are now MLAs with BJP in Uttar Pradesh, they are doing this thing. They are misusing the agency. This ED is an agency which had a great reputation, but few of the office bearers are working like Panna Pramukhs of BJP. That's the issue now.
Okay, Mr. Manikyam Tagore there joining us live from the Mandir Marg police station. Several of Mr. Manikyam Tagore's colleagues also have been detained early this morning when a handful of them gathered at the Congress headquarters. So clearly today too, most of the leaders of the Congress who gather will be detained because the Delhi police maintains there's no permission for this particular march, for the Satyagraha as the Congress calls it. Thank you, Mr. Manikyam Tagore, for joining us here on India Today and giving us a sense of what's really happening every time the Congress leadership gathers there at the AICC headquarters. They have a plan of carrying forward the protest march today as well, but it looks like the Delhi police are maintaining that we cannot allow this kind of an agitation to happen. You just heard the conversation that I had with the Congress MP who says there that there were just a handful of us, about 3 to 4 of us, and yet we were detained almost as soon as we reached the Congress headquarters. Let me take this across to Supriya Bharadwaj. She's reporting live from outside Rahul Gandhi's residence. Supriya, we understand Priyanka Gandhi has now reached there.
Well, yes, Akshita, just a couple of minutes back, Priyanka Gandhi has reached her brother Rahul Gandhi's residence, and you can see there is this movement over here also. A lot of cops have come into the action, but unlike yesterday when Delhi police officials were present here, today there is an uneasy calm which is prevailing. We can only see the paramilitary force which is present here. Yesterday, Delhi police officials were here. Congress party supporters were also present, but right now you can just see the officials from the paramilitary force from CRP who are present here, and they are actually looking at this entire area. This lane has been in a way cordoned off. Usually there is a massive movement of the traffic on this very particular lane, also Tughlaq lane, where we are just outside that side near 500 meter is the Tughlaq road, which connects the central Delhi with that of the South Delhi towards AIIMS sides. But this entire lane has also been cordoned off, and behind me you can see that how the cops of Delhi police officials have arrived here and they're having a discussion with the paramilitary forces. Both Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi are Z+ securities. Priyanka Gandhi has reached here. Congress party is going all out and saying that this is nothing short of a witch hunt, a political vendetta against their leader who has been raising his voice against all the issues. And as far as the Modi government is concerned, what we are hearing is that the sources are saying that all the MPs of the Congress party as well as the leaders plan to gather at AICC headquarters, and from there they want to march all the way to the ED office just like yesterday, and even Rahul Gandhi is expected to join them. Randeep Singh Surjewala in the press conference has said that they will march again, but a lot of leaders, just now you were talking to Manikam Tagore, have been arrested, and what we are hearing from the sources is that Rahul Gandhi would be leaving from here at any given point of time.
All right, Supriya, we'll keep tracking those updates with you. In about an hour from now, Rahul Gandhi is expected to appear before the Enforcement Directorate. And trust us here on India Today to keep you ahead on every single update that comes in on the biggest story of the day.